So often we go to the Bible and we look at particular characters and we have a deep-seated instinct to try to compare ourselves to them. We look at them, is this someone I should try to emulate, or something that they do that I should try to emulate or avoid? I think what the biblical writers often do is put people together and show us situations that present an incredible contrast that presents a challenge to us. I think one such scene is the scene. It's the week leading up to the crucifixion, and Jesus has come to town, and he is in the home of Simon the leper. So here's a leper he had cleansed, but also they're having a dinner party, and around the dinner table is Lazarus. We could easily read right over that, but of course, it was just a short time before that Lazarus was in the grave. And also there with Lazarus is Mary and Martha. So imagine what it was like to sit around that table and the sense of gratitude and worship they had for Jesus. But of course, the disciples are there too. Now here is Mary, and she goes and gets what maybe was a family heirloom. It's this precious nard, this precious perfume. And she begins to pour it out on Jesus. And clearly the disciples are looking on, especially Judas. And I tend to think, he's okay as long as she pours a little bit on, but she just keeps pouring. And as we read the story, it's pouring down his head and all the way down his body and down to the floor, so that she begins to wipe it with her hair. And Judas, he acts like he has some kind of altruistic motives, but of course we know that the reason he's concerned about what he calls a waste of money is that really he was hoping to pilfer. He's a guy who pilfers from the bag. So you have two very different responses to Jesus pictured in this scene. You've got one who's been exposed to Jesus for 3 years up close, and yet somehow he's still in the place that he's just seeking to use Jesus for his own advancement, even to enrich himself. But then you've got this incredible contrast of this woman, Mary, and her gratitude for Jesus, her love for Jesus is so overflowing in her life. She's willing to divest herself. She wants to pour out the best she has, to pour out what's really something very rich, something that has great worth. And Judas looks at it and he says it's a waste. I don't know, you look at this scene and I think it does prompt us to ask ourselves the question, where do I fit into this scene? Which one looks more like me? Kind of prompts us to ask, am I just seeking to use Jesus? Maybe it's not to get rich, but maybe something else. Or does my love for Jesus overflow in such a way that I want to pour out the best I have to offer? I want to pour it out of love for Jesus, confident that anything that I give to him, for him, will never be wasted.